And welcome back to Brands Hatch British Superbike Round 5. So we got a little treat for us today. So we are here with the famous Rocket Ron Haslam and Chris Parry, the Affinity Sports Academy team manager. So first of all, obviously, thanks for coming to join us today. And we've got a few questions for yourself and obviously the followers who will be watching this post-interview. So I think we'll start with yourself, Ron. Obviously, you've got a very extensive, famous career as yourself as a rider, which seems to be a whole family of sort of riders now. You've got your son, Ron Haslam, British Superbike champion, World Superbike race winner, obviously competing back this year, and yourself with one of the most extensive, successful careers for any sort of on a motor superbike. How does it feel now, sort of not racing? And actually stepping into this sort of managerial role, if you like it, obviously giving these young riders your skills and expertise?
Yeah, obvious. Really enjoying it. Because obviously when I did back up, I called me career in racing as far as professional-wise. We went into a race school, which was fantastic. We did 24 years of it. We're getting the opportunity of all the road lads out there to go on a racetrack, provided everything for it. And obvious that sort of had to pack up because when the COVID hit, so that sort of took me off the track a little bit. But now Leon's started this team up, which is fantastic on my half. A bit more on my side of it, because it's the race team, all young lads. It's just fantastic, from beginning lads to going, lads that are starting to get podiums and win, and win the championship. So on my side, it's just fantastic. We've got most of it happening at the farm. Most of them live at the farm, and Leon does a extensive training program for them. And really, I'm just a guideline with them. But really enjoying it.
Yeah, it's quite important. We've interviewed all of the riders throughout the course of today, and I think every single one of them has, mentioned the actual racing, but mainly talked about other aspects, which was quite a surprise to us today. And what they were saying, it's not just what they learn on track. It's very important what they're learning off track, and and that's the nutrition, the media training, the camaraderie, the being part of a team, the skills, the obviously working close together down at your farm, and obviously going to Spain and all these different aspects that you're providing, which is not like a conventional race team in essence. They seem to go above and beyond what a normal race team would. So that's been great to hear from the young riders, which just corresponds with what you say. Now, as far as obviously the working with Leon in a race team. Now, we spoke to Leon earlier, who's explained to us that his goal with this is to have a rider in every class, and potentially, while he's still racing, a rider racing alongside him on BSB level. Now, obviously, as a father and a rider, and what's that like to watch this journey unfold with your experience with your own race school in the past?
Yeah. No, as I say, it's Leon's aim is to get a rider in every class, and at the moment Leon's still competitive enough to, not just talk to him, but show him on the circuit as well. So he's still at the top, and that makes a big difference. So it's not when you talk to him and tell him, it's one thing, but then when you can actually physically show him on a track, it's another. So I'm dead pleased that Leon can still do all that, and I can, I'm pleased that they've got they've got respect for me, and so what I do mention to them, they listen. So my side, it's just just pure enjoyment for all that. It's I'm just hoping that we can do what we expected, and get a rider in every class, and also start winning championships as well.
Yeah, great. So, Chris, over to yourself then. So, recently appointed team manager at Affinity Sports Academy. How are you finding that?
Well, obviously, it's a big learning curve for me as well. So, the first time I've been team manager, obviously, I've worked with Ron and Ann for the last 20 years with the race school on the operations side and instructing. Big enthusiast, obviously, all my life of riding and done a bit of racing. But at the end of the day, it's all about the management of the team. So it's more to do with, my side is more to do with organisation, make sure the right people in the right place. The wagons get here, everything's up and ready for these riders coming in, and check that they're all doing the things that they should be doing at the right time. And then with Ron and Leon being heavily involved in the coaching and the debriefings in between, we work together to get the riders together and sit down and go through the day, what's happening, what's going wrong, what's going right, and then everybody learns from each other, because at the end of the day all these people are on a big learning curve and want to progress, and obviously they all want to be world champions, so they've got to progress by going through 400, 600, super sport, and then through to superbike, and then hopefully onto world superbikes, maybe MotoGP, we don't know.
Yeah, I think that's very important there. I mean, all these riders are young individuals, so I mean, what you sort of
don't get me wrong. Sometimes it's like herding a bunch of cats.
I was going to say, you come on the school teacher sort of side coming out there. I mean, what is it like having 8 young individuals all wanting to be champions?
Yeah,
I mean, what's
at the end of the day. You've just got to help them and encourage them, and to get them to do the right things at the right time, because obviously, big thing for these young people, which is, not our generation, is social media, is learning about that, using it properly, working with their sponsors, promoting brands, and being respectful and professional moving forward. At the end of the day, they've got to learn all that, because they haven't got the experience now. So Leon's been through it, Ron's been through it. People like yourselves that are coming on board, that are helping them with the media training, doing media blogs. It's all a learning curve, but 90% of it is off track, 10% is the race. But it's all that work that they have to put in before they get to that point as well.
Yeah, basically what we're saying is me and Leon has all the good stuff, and then we put all the bad stuff to him.
You just said you only have the 10%.
Every problem that comes up, Chris.
I think obviously not. I mean, what Affinity are. If you just take we drop the sports academy, but it's not just the racing, and we only see the riders and certain faces. There's a big team behind Affinity that you don't really see, which is all the mechanics. The hospitality, which I think is very good to mention, is us as a sponsor, we get a lot out of that sponsorship. It's not just the giving; we get a lot out of it. We get a lot of return of marketing. The hospitality is fantastic. We get the VIP weekends, and I think it's the full package that you're offering, which is very attractive. I go on to sponsorship now, so obviously we're having a great time supporting, and we're getting, as I was mentioned there, we do get a lot out of it. You've got a lot of sponsors who support you, but it's never enough, is it? There's always more things that need more finance needed. So it might be a good opportunity just to, there are many other corporations out there which we believe will benefit from experiencing what we experience every time we come to these meetings. So how important is sponsorship, and what would you like to say to any company out there that would be interested in getting involved?
Yeah, I mean, for us, the sponsors and the people that want to get involved with the team is huge, because without you and without other sponsors, we wouldn't be helping these youngsters develop. And at the end of the day, we put a package together for the youngsters, which is, very competitive. They get good kit, good training, but also it's a lot less cost than it would be if they were doing it as a private team by themselves, because we're getting all that sponsorship and putting it into team to develop these young riders to progress. So we're giving them a lot extra than they would have to think about if they were doing it as a privateer. I've got to think about my tyres, I've got to think about my spares, crash damage. We've got everything there on the team to look after them. All they've got to concentrate is on the racing. But without the sponsors, that would be impossible. And obviously, like you say, it's never enough, but every little helps. And obviously we're there, or part of my job is to make sure that we promote these sponsors, so they try and get as best brand value out of that, and get their sponsorship known, and bring them to the VIP hospitality and look after them at these things. But again, see that they're getting value for money.
Yeah, as you say on that, it's without you lot sponsoring it, it can't happen, and it means then we can't give the opportunity to the young lads, because the young lads, because they're not known, it's impossible for them to get sponsors. So it's impossible for them to actually have a chance at it. So I think that's, without you lot, it's impossible. So again, you're a bigger part is what we are. We keep saying, we've got racing experience and all that. All that doesn't matter if you haven't got the finance and the sponsors behind you. So, such a big thing.
Yeah, you see that in a lot of motorsport. That you get some very talented drivers, riders that just don't get a chance because they can't get enough money to ride.
Those are very kind words from you guys. Thank you. It makes us feel both proud on being on the other side of the track, knowing that we can really support such a great organization such as you guys, but also looking at the benefits of the new generation coming up, so to give them more focus what's on the track more versus what's off the track.
Exactly.
No, it is. Yeah, it's all about that. Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. So if you would like to get involved in sponsoring obviously Affinity Sports Academy or any of the riders, obviously please get in touch with us. But thank you very much, guys. It's been great. Thank you.
This has been a pleasure.
Cheers.
Thank you very much.